What's going on, Washington fans? Breaking news. Of course, it had to happen today. The day I traveled back home. I've been up since 2 a.m. I'm so jet lagged right now. It's not even funny. I can't even see right now. You probably think I'm high right now. I'm not. I'm just that tired. But breaking news, guys. There's a lot to talk about with this, but Washington has officially hired Kliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator. So let's talk about it. Blow up the chat, guys, as y'all always do. Give me your thoughts as you do on social media. And follow me if you don't already at Josh Taylor FB. You see it there. Hit that subscribe button. And then, as always, sign up for the memberships for the channel for exclusive perks. But, guys, we have our offensive coordinator. And at the Senior Bowl, it's funny because every day is like news was breaking. And I was trying to talk to some people and get some insider stuff. And I'm going to tell y'all, this is going to be a big offseason for me because I feel like the Senior Bowl was the biggest beneficial event for me off the field wise, if you kind of know what I'm saying. It's good to build some relationships. So I remember sitting at the Senior Bowl as the game's like starting. I'm up in the press box, and it happened like really quick. Like hearing that Kliff Kingsbury was going to be pulling out of the Raiders job and didn't really know why or anything like that. But then I got some news that Washington was for sure interested and that he was going to be a candidate. So that's what I sent out that tweet before anything came out. And I said, there's some smoke building. And then sure enough, I forgot who said the first thing. I think it was Albert Breer said something like 15, 20 minutes later, like that Washington considers him as like a top candidate or something like that. So it just kind of all happened fast at the Senior Bowl. So it was just funny to see how everything kind of was going about. It seemed like everything was so sure with Chip Kelly, and then it turned into, well, Washington really wanted Kliff Kingsbury. And then once they kind of heard that the contract news was breaking down, nothing was ever official with the Raiders. It's not like he didn't pull like a Ben Johnson. It was different. Like what Kliff did, it's just contracts just didn't work out how they thought it was going to be. So let's get to some chats. This is important. Eric Bieniemy is not going to be the OC. What happens with EB, I don't know. The Raiders interviewed him for the OC job. Maybe he gets that one. Maybe we do a little bit of a swap. Yep, let's go. EB talk can be over now. What's up, Fan McKay, our assistant GM? What's going on, Bradley? You know, I'm out here in the field, guys. I can't sit here and say I wasn't doing anything this past week at the Senior Bowl. I was out there. I was out there grinding. I was out there talking to some ESPN folk, talking to some insiders that you be seeing on TV, talking to agents, like just trying to get any kind of intel for y'all. That's what I do. And that's why like I didn't really care. Everyone's like, oh, you should have said something like, you know, I don't care about like I'm being first. I'm not that kind of person. Like this is just fun for me. Like I thoroughly enjoy doing this stuff. Pat says Caleb or Jaden is the pick. Caleb or Jaden, I don't care who it is, one of those. What's going on, y'all? Blow up the chat. Appreciate y'all stopping. We got some people going live. I just want to hear y'all's thoughts about this. And then we'll do a little dive into this because I see some good and I see some nonsense on social media. I'll take Kliff over Chip, says Rashad Brooks. I agree. I was kind of iffy on the whole Chip Kelly thing because, one, I think he would have been a better NFL OC than he is head coach at UCLA. There's just a lot. Like, and I've told y'all, if y'all were listening to the streams I was doing this past week, that was like the one big buzz that everyone was talking about. Matt Miller. Some people with ESPN, some other like NFL Network people, some other like college people. The buzz lately is that college coaches just want to get out right now. And I don't blame them. With NIL, with the transfer portal, there's no commissioner. Like it's just a free for all. There's no rules. You have the transfer portal before the season even ends. Then you have Nick Saban step down. And then it's just like Alabama loses players and gets some players super late in the process. It's a mess. College coaches want it out. So with Chip, he wouldn't be doing this recruiting. You wouldn't have to worry about transfer portal stuff. He's just running in offense. And it's not, and people think, oh, it's the Chip Kelly that was with the Eagles. It wasn't. It's a completely different Chip Kelly. He evolves as offenses evolve. That's the one thing I liked about him. But I just wasn't sure of what kind of style he was going to bring to the NFL. Caleb or Jaden. It seems like everyone's like saying this doesn't mean Drake May anymore. I would not rule out Drake May at all. What's going on, Zoe Life? No Life says, not a fan of KK, but in terms of working with the rookie QB, he's a perfect hire. So I know it's obvious, but I think we are 99% drafting a QB. RIP How. So that was the biggest thing for me is what would Chip Kelly do with a rookie quarterback? And I think obviously Kliff Kingsbury is the better guy for that. Now everyone's saying the same thing with him and with Caleb. USC wasn't good this year. USC's offense wasn't good this year. Williams regressed. I don't think Williams regressed. It's just Lincoln Riley, he's the head guy. Like, he is the head guy for that offense. No one can sit here and tell me that the offense's fault was anywhere on Kliff Kingsbury. Like, it wasn't. I'll say that it just seemed like Caleb was playing 65% like street ball all the time, which is not ideal. Caleb was just doing what he had to do, which sucks for him because he's good. And I don't think he as a talent regressed by any means. Caleb Williams just didn't get bad this season. Caleb Williams is still good this season. But when his defense is bottom 10, he's playing from behind a lot. He's playing hero ball a lot. His offensive line sucks. The running game was better this year. So you're not like leaning on Caleb to put up some crazy like Heisman-like numbers anymore. Marshawn Lloyd was a really good running back, by the way. And then really outside of Brendan Rice, Taj Washington was pretty good. But outside of him, there just wasn't a lot of people making like big playmaking moves, especially like deep. There wasn't a lot of like deep separation plays open for Caleb Williams. It was him having to open things up across the middle, short passes. But then you go back and watch some games, and I'm not saying Caleb Williams is the perfect prospect because he's not. He's not. But I think people have just gotten to the point where he's just been the number one guy for so long. It's like this. It's a draft prospect exhaustion is what I'll call it. He would have been number one last year, and he's going to be number one this year. People have just, he's been the number one guy for so long. People are like, well, I don't know if he's actually the guy. And I know you pop on the tape and he's trying to force some things. He makes some bad decisions. Once again, I'm not against that. I'm not saying he doesn't. Like I said, once again, he had to play some hero ball. You pop on that Notre Dame tape, it was bad. But Notre Dame got some dogs in that secondary. Benjamin Morrison, future first rounder. Cam Hart, who was one of my favorite guys at the Senior Bowl, baller. Great secondary. That Notre Dame team, they played the right way against that offense. They were putting pressure on them. You know, nothing was really open for Caleb. Like, once again, he made some bad throws. But I still think Caleb is the unanimous number one overall prospect in this draft, and it's not close. I think he's well above Drake May, who I like a lot. I think he's well above Jaden Daniels, who I like a lot too. I don't think any of those three are bad prospects. Like, if you get any of those three quarterbacks, you're doing fine. David says, we are the laughing stock of the league. I mean, I disagree, man. I think a lot of people do like this. Leslie says, great hire. Cool. I didn't know it's a done deal, but welcome to DC. It literally just happened not too long ago. Luke Getsy got the Raiders job. Oh, yeah. You're right. That happened today too. That was happening, I think, like early this morning when I got up. It's going to be a good off season. What's going on? Merle says, have to see who will be our O-line coach. And honestly, that's what I'm waiting for next. O-line coach, and then the DC news hasn't, come out official yet. Joe Witt Jr. from the Cowboys has been like rumored. Teddy Strongman says Jaden Daniels should be the pick. Skins fan all day. It is official. It happened not too long ago, just a couple minutes ago. And the thing is, like, I think the biggest thing is we had to interview Brian Johnson because you had to do one minority outside of us to be able to make your hire. Appreciate it, Philip. Love the Senior Bowl covers. Great time there. I'm still kind of burnt, if you can see. Still recovering. It's been a long week. Everyone says Jahan already reacting on Twitter. Let me know what Jahan says. I saw B-Rob. Yeah. B-Rob did the fire emojis. But let me know what Jahan said. And a lot of people, I've seen this too. People are saying don't rule out Kyler Murray. I'm ruling out Kyler Murray. First off, I don't think the Cardinals want to move past them, but then also like that contract. I just don't see like what like trading for him would look like. That, in my opinion, that's just be a not good use of money. What's going on? We got a super chat here. Easy Money Sicilian. Thank you for the super chat. Just got here, so you may have answered, but I'd be ecstatic for Caleb or JD2 paired with KK. I'm loving the hire. How are you feeling about it? And I love, this is what I like. I appreciate these chats. I appreciate not only just because of the super chat, but I like the optimistic. And there is a lot of possibilities. Obviously, like I said, Caleb was his guy at USC last year. But I see a lot of people saying like, oh, the offense got worse, whatever. Kliff being a quarterback coach does not have influence on how the offense performed. Like I said, that was a Lincoln Riley offense. Lincoln Riley is not the offensive genius that a lot of people really think he is. I think you saw a little bit of it, but I think the college has kind of figured out Lincoln Riley to a certain extent. But then, like I said, it sucks when your defense is that bad. Now, talk about with Jaden Daniels. I mean, I said this with Chip. If Chip Kelly was the guy too, you have to wonder, because you go back to what Chip Kelly did with DTR at UCLA. Like, that was they were the 4th overall offense in college. Was it last year with DTR? Charbonnet is a really good running back. He's killing it on the Seahawks right now. So I think JD2 it's in play. But I think as of right now, you can pretty much say, yeah, like Caleb Williams is a big time option. Like, and Adam Schefter even said it, like, get the speculation started. You know what, DT, right, man? In honor of my boy Dan Quinn, we got to go hat backwards, man. It ain't a good look with the mullet, but we're going to do it anyways. We're going to do it for coach. But man, I am intrigued by it, but I think you cannot rule out that Washington is in play to trade up to number 1. But once again, this is what I've been saying since the season ended. It doesn't matter if the Bears want Caleb Williams. If the Bears want Caleb Williams, they're going to get Caleb Williams. If they don't, then a trade's going to happen like mid-March, end of March. It's not going to happen on draft night. It's going to be a done deal before we even get on the clock. It's going to be done it's going to be like the DJ Moore trade. But at the end of the day, if the Bears are moving on from Justin Fields, they're not going to move on, from Justin Fields for Jaden Daniels or Drake May or anybody that's not Caleb Williams. So at the end of the day, they're either going to take Caleb or we're going to trade up and get Caleb. And I think people are kind of overthinking that. Like, oh, it's not going to happen. We're going to know. The Bears are going to tell us if it's going to happen. Like I said, it's not going to happen on draft night. I promise you. That is the one thing I do know. They're not rolling into the draft like taking calls still like, hey, y'all want Caleb? Y'all want number 1? Ryan Poles is not going to do that unless he just doesn't get an offer that he does like, and he's in draft night, he's making a last call. He's like, all right, guys, this is it. We're about to pick Caleb. And then they trade Justin or someone on draft night. I mean, you never know. But I don't think it happens. I think it happens, like I said, mid-March. If they're going to do the trade, if they go into draft night with the number 1 pick still, they're taking Caleb. Just get ready for pick 2. And that's okay. I still like Drake May. I still like Jaden Daniels. I think they would both work really good. I remember listening to not Greg McElroy, Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy was talking about Kliff Kingsbury, like how in his offenses in the NFL. When he was watching Drake May, actually, when he was doing a video looking at Drake May's tape for Underdog Fantasy with Josh Norris. Look it up. It's a really good video, by the way. I love his breakdowns on those quarterbacks so far. But he was talking about like Kliff Kingsbury's offense and like the clap cadence and how you don't really see it that much. That's like my one question is Kliff Kingsbury going to bring that like clap cadence back to the NFL? Because it worked when he did it, but he was like the only one to ever do it. It's strictly like a college run offense. I think he did it with Kyler too, because he was talking about like when he was on the Cardinals is when he ran it. Colt McCoy did. So like those kind of things, like I want to know like what Kliff is going to bring exactly. What kind of offense is he going to run? Is he going to run that college style offense, like he did with Caleb, like he did at Arizona. And I'll say people are saying this too, like, oh, his record at Arizona wasn't the best. Great, we hired a losing coach, blah, 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 blah. Guys, it is a completely different role. It kind of bothers me how much people don't realize going from a head coach to an offensive coordinator, how different it is. Whether it's college or NFL, I don't think people are talking enough about like how different it is. I get it. Like people aren't like, this isn't the Ben Johnson hire. This isn't the offensive guy we had, blah, 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 blah. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a big time hire. Like out of everyone out there offensively, knowing what our situation is, knowing that a rookie quarterback is going to be in Washington next year. And if you haven't realized that yet, like you need to hop off of here and just go think about it because it's going to happen. Sam Howell's not coming back. I mean, he's going to be here, but he's not going to be quarterback one. Like we're taking a quarterback. So just knowing what the situation is between Chip Kelly, between him, even if it was going to be Hank Fraley, like the offensive line guy coming over from the Bears, whatever it was going to be, it was, in my opinion, it was like, we need someone that can develop this rookie quarterback. And I think Kliff Kingsbury can do that. So Dan Quinn's going to do his thing as head coach. He's going to get this defense right. He's going to bring over his guy from the Cowboys. Like I said, I think Joe Wood Jr. is going to be the guy. I'm very confident that he's going to bring over that defense. And he's going to get that right. And he's going to let Kliff just do his thing on the offense and spend time with the quarterback. I think he's a really good guy that can just connect with that quarterback and get the development thing going. It's not even just play calling. I think he can, not do what EB did and just throw Sam Howell to the wolves and give him the most difficult offense in the NFL to learn off the rip. I think Kliff's going to work with this quarterback, see what he's strong at right now, and call things that's good with what he can do right now. And as things develop, you start to open things up. He's not going to just slap out the giant playbook and say, this is it, go learn the whole thing, we're running it tomorrow kind of thing. I think Kliff's going to be good at just merging and getting whoever it is ready to be on this team. And then as things get better, just open it wide open. Whether that is through training camp, whether it's through preseason, and then week one, they just open it up, however long it takes. And it might take some time, guys. Like, don't, another thing, people are going to be like, oh, this guy doesn't look like CJ Stroud off the rip. Then what are we doing? Sorry, I had to go on a little rant here. Let's see. This is a rebuilding team, and I think we're putting the right pieces in place so far. Time will tell ultimately. Something else I want to say here in a minute. Guys, Bears drafted Caleb. They passed on Mahomes. Did I make that mistake again? I do agree with you, Merle. I don't see a way. All right, I can't do it. I don't see a way that they decide to pass on Caleb, reset the money market. But like I said, guys, even if they do decide to get Caleb, I don't know what's going on with my camera right now. I just don't focus. This is what happens when I leave. Even if they do take Caleb and we're stuck with Drake May or Jaden Daniels between those two guys, once again, I don't care which one they pick. Whichever one they get together on, Adam Peters talks to whoever and Kliff Kingsbury says, like, this is the guy I want to work with, I'm fine with it. Run it. I don't care who it is, and it's not a trade back situation or anything like that. Regardless of which of these top three QBs, it's all about coaching a system. We're building that the right way, moving up. I'm going to go through these chats, and I'm going to give you something else a thought process that I've kind of had throughout this. I trust leadership has made the right decision. HTTC. Love that name. Super different. Let's see. Players seem to be excited about Kliff. Why no D coordinator yet? I think they're still trying to get that worked out with Joe Wood Jr. But I think he is going to be the guy, which is crazy because he was about to be the next guy in Dallas. It wasn't going to be Al Harris. I think they're still trying to figure out. They said Ron Rivera is interviewing with the Cowboys for D coordinator. That's fine. Y'all can have him. Chance for Caleb has gone up. Zolife No Life says, so would the other offensive staff be headed by Kliff or DQ? I think they're going to work together on building. Obviously, you want Kliff to have who he likes. I still think you can get like a really good quarterback coordinator. Maybe he decides to pull up someone from USC. Maybe he decides to get someone in the NFL. That's the thing about this, the NFL. Like people. You go around different teams. It is such a networking job. And I saw that people talking today like, oh, you got fired from this position last year. Well, we're going to hire you for this side. And it's all about who you know and who you have worked with in the past. So I could see Kliff just getting someone from his past or someone that he, knows in college or maybe in the NFL and get them over here. Brian Johnson is EB 2.0. Yes, super stuck in their ways. I did not want Brian. Brian Johnson was like the one guy I did not want anywhere on this team next year. Jahan said, super tough, crying emoji. Shout out to Jahan, man. I love Jahan. I think he's going to pop out. It's just last year, it was not a Jahan thing, guys. I'm telling you. There is certain situation where he was not winning his one-on-ones and getting that separation. But guys were just not schemed open at all last year. And you watch a replay, there's like 3 guys in the same zone. You're like, what is going on? Swim84, welcome back. See you popping up on the chat all the time. Kliff is basically the QB coach at this point. We need to hire a staff around Kliff to replace him once the quarterback has matured. So I'm going to talk about that. Like I said, let me go through some chats, but I want to talk about like what this means in my opinion. Philip says, I see that. You figure a guy that went to CCU would know to use sunscreen. Man, it was 50 degrees at Alabama day 1. We were all out there, and day 2, we were all burnt. It was bad. The Alabama sun is no joke. Let's see. Jaden is RG3 2.0. We're about to have something special this year. Trust the process. Thank you, Pat. Trust the process. I'm trusting it, man. I see Ron going to the Cowboys. I would love that. Don't trade up. JD is too small. I think JD is a good size. He's like 6'4". He's going to put on like 5 pounds before like the combine and the draft. I think he's a great size. I'm not worried about his size. I'm just worried about how much hits he takes. What's going on, bro? Appreciate the super chat. Don't sleep on Sam Howell. He ran the air raid offense at Carolina. Had his best season. So did De'Ami Brown. In my opinion, Merle, and it's nothing against Sam. I don't think Sam's a bad quarterback. It's just when you're in that position, when you have that number 2 pick, and it's this quarterback class. It's not like the quarterback class where Sam went, where it was like Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Malik, Matt Corral. Like it was just, I know Brock Purdy was like the last guy, and he's obviously the best one. But it's not a draft like that. It's a draft where you have 3 quarterbacks going in the top 3 picks. That doesn't happen a lot. And then next year, you just don't know. Maybe someone like goes crazy and pops out. Maybe Shedeur Sanders doesn't look good. You got Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart. Like there's just that like special guy just really isn't there for me next year. And I don't think this team, and I'm kind of going to just piggyback what I wanted to say off of yours. With these hirings, Dan Quinn, now Kliff Kingsbury. This in my opinion says they want to win now. But they're also built to sustain for a long time in doing so. This is why. Because Dan Quinn, he's your head coach. Like, that's it. Good. He's not going to, like, go anywhere else. If you're doing good, he's not going to go be a head coach somewhere else. He's going to stay here. Dan Quinn's going to stay here. Then you have Kliff. Kliff's been there. Kliff's been a head coach. He doesn't want to do that again. That's why he went back to college. That's why he said, guys, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to go back to college. I'm going to work with Caleb Williams. I'm going to just refresh. Now he's back in the game he wants to be in. Now he's back in the NFL being offensive coordinator. If he's doing really well, I don't see Kliff making a jump to head coach. Probably ever again. And if he does, it's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time. It's not going to be 2 years and he's going back to a head coach. That's not Kliff. So I do like that about the Kliff Kingsbury hiring. This is a guy who can be the offensive coordinator for years. 3, 4, whatever. This isn't a one and he does really good and then you got to replace him kind of thing. And that was the issue that a lot of people had with the Dan Quinn being a head coach hiring. Is they're saying, oh, now you're going to be rotating offensive coordinators all the time. Now you're going to have a rookie quarterback who's learning all these systems, which it honestly isn't that big of a deal, even if he did. But a guy like Kliff Kingsbury, he's not going to move up to be a head coach anytime soon. He's been there. He doesn't want to do it again. He is perfectly fine being the offensive guru somewhere. And if it's with his guy, regardless of who it is, Caleb, Drake, Jaden Daniels, Sam Howell, I don't care. If it's going well and they're building something special here, he's going to stay here. Now, if he sucks, then we're going to get rid of them. So I think this is a really good win-win situation. You're building to win now. You're not getting the young guys. And I'm not going to go down that hole of the young guys that we went after. We went after the mature, already has head coach experience. Players love him. He's a leader. And it's not the Ron Rivera leader of men type where I said the other day on a stream, it was like a Boy Scout. Like Ron Rivera was not the guy that was changing the culture. And there's been things that have come out the last few days about how the culture wasn't changed. But with Dan Quinn, the leader of men, you have his defensive side of the ball. It's going to improve the defense drastically. Perfect. He's going to be here for a while. If things go well, he's going to be here. Now you have Kliff, who's not going to go anywhere. He's going to want to be an offensive coordinator. This is probably the peak of the rest of his career. The peak. Unless something just crazy happens and he does become a head coach. I don't see it. He's going to be an offensive coordinator for a long time. And if things go well, it's going to be here. You're not going to be rotating guys. Tom Chunk says, I didn't want to trade up, but now I'm thinking might be worth our first, second, 2025 first. I'll say this, guys. It's a debate we're going to have until April. In my opinion, if they ask for the second pick, a second this year, and a first next year for Caleb Williams, you do that. Like, you do that. You have them, and you have the ammo to do so. You have the salary cap to build the team, and you still have a ton of picks in a very good, very deep draft. This is a very, I told so many people at the Senior Bowl, you're going to have some guys that are like future All-Pros in the 4th and 5th round. It's ridiculous how good this draft is. So good. I know you're like, well, why are you going to try to pick away then? Because you have that ammo to get the guy. If Caleb is really your guy and the Bears give you an opportunity to do so, you do it. And if you miss, you miss. But if you hit, by God, you hit. Like, you see what I'm saying? If you hit with Caleb Williams, then you hit. But if you miss, no one's going to say, oh, they shouldn't have done that. Yes, you should have. What they will say is if you didn't do it and he hits, they're like, why didn't you do it? You swing, and if you miss, you just take it on the chin and you keep going. You don't just say, I'm not gonna go in the fight because I'm gonna lose it anyways. You at least go out there, fight, and if you win, cool, you win. If you lose, you lose. But in my opinion, you still got to trade up for Caleb if it's there. But like I said, guys, the Bears, they hold the cards. We're just waiting for them to show. Like, the season's over. Justin Fields has done what he's done. Nothing's gonna change with Justin Fields. Nothing's gonna change with the money. It's like Texas Hold'em. All the cards in the river, whatever you call it, they're all gone. Like, we're just waiting for the Bears to show their hand. Like, us in Washington, we know what we got. We got our coach, we got our offensive coordinator, we got our salary cap, we've got our draft capital. That's our hand. The Bears, like, oh, we know what we got too. But they're just taking their time. They're gonna just wait to see. Maybe bluff some people and act like they got something in their hand. But at the same time, guys, I'm telling you, the Bears hold the cards to whatever's going to happen. As much as that sucks, it's the truth. Whatever the Bears decide to do, that's what's going to happen. Let's see. We got hella picks. Mandalorian says, hit the deck. There's an air raid inbound. Let's go. And this is a good air raid, guys. This is with Kliff, you're going to see like spaced out stuff. It's not going to be the same thing with EB. Like I said, people running into each other like for no reason. Shout out to Rio. Go subscribe to his channel, man. Check out the latest video. He hit 10K, y'all. That's crazy. Me and Rio talked about times like that. I'm almost at 3K, so hit that subscription button. Subscribe, like the video if you're here in the chat. But Rio at 10K, that's crazy, man. Love to see it. Love to see it. Rio in the chat. Yep. Smash that like and sub to the channel. I know I'm behind on these chats, man. I'm getting my phone blowing up. Chat's blowing up. Appreciate y'all. We got like 400 people up in here right now. Another good point. Caleb knows the system, so you get a jump start on development. You do. Straight up. You know exactly what he's going to get. Let's see. Maybe they keep same as a starter. There's 0% chance. Rio says that Schrag said we are working on a very impressive offensive staff. Let's say I haven't heard anything about like any other coaches, anything like that coming up. Shout out to Joe for super chat. Like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button and then also join memberships. $2.99 a month. That is it. I'm starting to work on some member exclusive videos with free agency breakdowns. I'll have some big guests coming on, talk about quarterbacks, talk about coaching, all kind of juicy stuffs, draft prospect breakdowns. I'll have some other draft prospects on the channel, do some interviews. I've already got a couple lining up, just trying to work with their training schedule and stuff like that. So it's going to be a big offseason, guys. I'm going to be talking about contracts, like I said, free agents, targets, film breakdown, all that stuff, man. I got all the goods. I got all 22 you could ever want is saved on my computer right now. You pick a player and I'm going to talk about him. Will says, I like Drake May as a pocket passer as the option to run. We're not getting Caleb Williams. So I'm telling you guys, like if we don't get Caleb Williams, do not sleep on Drake May and what he brings. The dude is an athletic freak. If you watched my interview I did that I uploaded, the Senior Bowl interviews with Cedric Gray, linebacker at North Carolina, who we are super interested in, by the way, had a really good talk with him. I said, look, man, we're in a good position to draft Drake May. Tell me about Drake May. And he was like honest. He was like, dude, he's a baller. You see him jumping over guys, taking hits. Like he lays it all out there. Like go watch it. It was a really good, time just listening to him just talk about his teammate. Holy smokes, guys. The chat is blowing up. I'm going to have to skip over some because there's like 100 unanswered. So just keep blowing up the chat. Let me get to these super chats. Shout out to Jason. Appreciate the super chat. Caleb or Daniels, but Baker is a free agent. Baker is a free agent, but everything I've heard is that the Bucs definitely want Baker to come back. But I don't know because they lost their offensive coordinator. Canales went to Carolina, so maybe things would change for him. But they're definitely going to bring Mike Evans back. I hate to say it, but I would love for Mike Evans to come here. But I don't know. I wouldn't want Baker Mayfield to come here on like a 1-year gap because like what are you building that 1-year gap towards? Like I said, Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders, like just pick whoever you want right now and get that development starting. I know fans are impatient. I'll be impatient sometimes. But I would much rather have that rookie quarterback here getting that development done. And like I said, it was just brought up. If it's Caleb, he's already hitting that fast track. Like he don't need no on the job training. He's ready to go. But Drake's gonna have to learn a couple of different things. Excuse me. And then Jaden Daniels is gonna have to do the same thing as well. But Baker as a free agent coming here just doesn't do nothing for me. Nothing against Baker. It's just if we're starting fresh, we need to start fresh. We need to top to bottom start fresh. Like get that guy, get whoever you want in here. Whether it is Caleb, Drake, Daniels. They said Abel says the 3-year contract with Kliff. Let me know what's going on because I'm trying not to look at my phone right now, even though it's buzzing. If anything pops up, I'll try to see it in the chat and bring it up. But I'm trying to get through y'all's chats. I don't want to ignore y'all. Hassan says, yes, sir, 2024 is going to be exciting and interesting. It'll definitely be both of those. If anything, it's not going to be a dull season at all. You've got Dan Quinn running the defense as the head coach. You've got Kliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator. Like I feel like we're playing like Madden. We're just like building out a random roster. If you had told me last year that Josh Harris would have owned the team, we'd have Adam Peters as GM, Dan Quinn as the head coach, and then Kliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator. Like, what are we playing? Like, we're playing Madden? Like that? How is that even like? It's crazy. Let's see. Daddy DeQuavis. Appreciate the super chat. Best QB fit for Kliff's offense. I mean, I hate to say the obvious one, but it would be Caleb. Because like I said, they worked closely together last year at USC. Would he bring that exact offense over? I think it's going to be pretty close. Like I said, I would have to go back and just look at a little bit more at USC's offense this year. But like, there's a couple big things. Like I said, it seems like it's such a small thing, but that clap cadence, like before the snap, Kliff Kingsbury had no problem bringing that in to the NFL. Now, offensive linemen hate it because you're over here doing like there's certain clap counts, there's certain things you're doing. It's really good when you're playing away. Offensive linemen hate it though because the clap cadence is just so much different. There's just little teeny things. This is stuff I'm gonna talk about as as the time goes by here in the offseason. I'm gonna talk about Kliff's offense, what he could probably bring, what things he should leave at USC, things he could bring over. But he has that experience in the NFL, guys. And I know people are like, oh, he was a losing head coach. I don't care about his head coaching career. I don't care about that. He has experience being a play caller in the NFL and then doing it in college too. I want to see what he can cook up together and bring over here. I think it won't be centered around the quarterback, but it's going to be quarterback friendly for whoever it is. Like, could Caleb and Drake May run the exact same thing? Maybe not the exact same thing, but pretty daggone close. They're both athletic with their feet. They both have a great arm. They both go through progressions pretty well, better than Jane Daniels. I hate to say it. But I think Drake's a better fit than Jane Daniels is. People are going to hate that, but that's my honest take. I think with Jaden Daniels, man, it's just he plays too fast, and it's going to get him hurt in the NFL. He plays too fast. There's so many times where there will be a 8 or 12, 15-yard pass that is open with Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr., 2 first-round wide receivers, and he threw the ball a lot this year. I'm not saying he didn't have any throwing yards because he surely did. But there's a lot of times where instead of just sitting in the pocket and going through these progressions, he would just tuck it and go and just play hero ball too many times. I know Caleb did the same thing, but the thing with Caleb is he was actually willing to go through those progressions more. And if he was moved off of his spot, he was resetting his base and he was throwing the ball. Jaden Daniels had the lowest passing percentage when he was moved off of his spot in the entire FBS last year, like 20%, which is crazy. I think the average in the NFL is like 50-something. What that means is when he was moved off of his spot, he only threw it, like reset or was throwing it on the run 20% of the time in the NFL. Most of the time, he was tucking it and gone. And he was taking those big hits. And there were some fumbles. There were some, it's just unnecessary hits. Jaden's just going to have to work on being confident and just standing, resetting his base, setting his feet, going through the progressions, and trusting his wide receivers to get open. Those little off-script plays with Jaden. And I think it's possible. The athleticism is there. You can't just teach athleticism. He's got it. Like, he's got that special sauce. Caleb's got the special sauce. I think Drake has some underrated special sauce. He's got some sauce you just don't order all the time, so you don't know it's good. But he's got some underrated sauce, and he's still super young. He's 21. He's not going to turn 22 until almost week 1 of the season. That's crazy. Drake May is super young. And you saw the picture last night with him with Sam Howell. You know how young he looks? Guys, he's super young. So he's going to get better. Will he need like a year longer maybe than Caleb or Jaden? Probably, because they played a lot of football. But that's okay. Like the special stuff is there. All 3 of them have a special thing about them. It's just translation to the next level. I think Caleb and Drake are way more ready than Jane Daniels. Now, Jane Daniels can make it better by using his feet. But once again, he's got to slow down. He plays way too fast, especially when he has a clean pocket. It's like, Jaden, why are you leaving? Why are you running? This was not a quarterback draw. But here he is. 1, 2, gone. I'm like, Jaden, chill. Throw it, son. But then I know he throws it deep, and it's like a crazy pass, and he had a lot of yards. He won the Heisman. Once again, I'm not saying he didn't throw it. There's just certain things. Let's see. Yeah, Adam Schefter did just say something about like, oh, now we're going to speculate on what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. Brent says, Josh, any way we can get Justin Fields by a trade or draft picks? There's definitely a way. I mentioned it as an option like a month ago, and people hated me. I don't think it happens, but is it an option? Of course. Anything's possible. The thing with Justin Fields is like, what are you trading for him? It's probably going to be a second, and you're going to have to pay him. In my opinion, it's just not smart. I'd much rather just take Drake, take Jane Daniels, start with the fresh rookie quarterback window. Don't start out already in the hole paying Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields is bad, by the way. I think he's good. I think he's going to go to a team like the Raiders, or he's going to go to a team like Atlanta that's just outside of that reach for that quarterback. Like, Bo Nix, That doesn't excite me if I'm a team trying to, start over at quarterback. Michael Penix Jr., no. I'm going to take Justin Fields before I take those guys. Definitely. Yeah, and I would pay him and I would trade for him. But Washington is not in that position. They're just talking. Adam Schefter says, when new Commanders head coach Dan Quinn landed earlier tonight to start his new job, Washington's new GM Adam Peters was there to greet him. And I just want to say, y'all, I was, this doesn't happen often, but when I was at the Senior Bowl and I saw that Adam Peters was there, I was like, guys, I'm going. I got to find him. And found him on the side, and then he was shooting a video with Logan Paulson and the team. I was kind of just hanging back, just like, yo, what up, Adam? I'm not going to come over there and ruin what y'all are doing, but I just want to say what's up. The dude's got the aura. I'm not going to doubt anything that Adam Peters does. It was a dream to even have this man here. I'm not going to be mad at anything he decides to do. Not going to be mad at it. So is EB fired? I mean, I guess technically not yet, because he still had another year on his contract. I don't know. Merle says Justine Anderson will be mad. Her guy was EB. Yeah. And once again, it's nothing against EB, but who honestly rolled into this season saying we could do that again? We could roll with EB again. Not me. The running game was non-existent. There was some questionable calls, and we saw it on the biggest stage against the Cowboys. Those 3rd and 4th down calls were EB, what are you doing? And then just how he handled Sam Howell, in my opinion, wasn't the best either. So do I want another rookie quarterback to run that back with EB? No. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. Once again, not anything against EB. Let's see. Does terminology change when you change teams so former team players can't figure out play? Oh, man, that's such a deep, deep hole to go into. Certain ones have different terminologies. It's usually colors followed up by a number. Gosh, I can go on a rant for a long time about this one. I'll keep it short. Yes and no. It just really depends what kind of offense you're running. So if we get a rookie quarterback, it's probably going to be summed up into something much easier where it's going to be red followed up by some kind of number. So the red indicates what kind of formation, or you can even switch it. But the biggest thing is they don't always mean the same thing. You can blue can be whatever you want it to be. It's not blue's always a 22 package or a shotgun play or something like that. You can make it whatever you want. It's not always the same. So yes, you can change it. I've read a couple books. Keep Your Eye Off the Ball is one of my favorite books. Just learning how to watch football. And it really goes into terminology and stuff like that. Pete Carroll has a lot of stuff in it. A lot of big coaches have some good nuggets in there, but they talked about that actually, how the color can mean one thing in your offense, but it means a completely different thing in another offense. And same with the numbers that come after that in the terminology. So EB is this long sentence when some people will just shorten it up, especially for a rookie quarterback. And like I said, it'll be just a color followed by a number and then a short sentence afterwards. It's not 10 to 12 words like EB was doing. So yes, I'll say this. It does change up. You can kind of make it whatever you want it to be. It's once again, it's not blue means it's a counter run. For every offense, it could be a passing play. So yeah, it depends on the coach, but most of the time, yes, it pretty much could just be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be some set thing. Let's see. I'm trying to get to all these chats because y'all was blowing up. Appreciate y'all, man. It's been a lit live. I'm gonna try to go live more often because y'all always show up and show out. You don't have to lose your draft capital, give up what you have. I guess you're talking about with trading up. In my opinion, like I said, if you can trade up, you got to trade up. Marshawn Lloyd to the Commanders' likeliness may have skyrocketed. Yes. When everyone's talking about Caleb, Marshawn Lloyd and Brendan Rice are also on watch. Because Brendan Rice, cool dude, showed out at the Senior Bowl. He said Washington had some good talks with him as well. Every player, and Ken mentioned this earlier, every player met with every team at the Senior Bowl, but there were some players that met with teams more than once. That's the ones I'm like writing down and have like saved somewhere, because that means something. If a team says, "Hey, we want to talk to him again tomorrow, or we want to do something a little different with him," I can't say everything, but there's a couple players that kind of gave me some tea. Stay hydrated, folks. There was a certain guy. He told me literally every question Washington asked him. Super cool guy. One of my favorite guys. If you know me, you know who it is. But he was like, he literally told me every question. He's like, yeah, they were like making up stuff about like my past, and because that's what they do at the combine. It was just really cool that he was like sharing with me. It was like just two dudes like drinking a beer somewhere, but he was just like, oh yeah, they were asking me like about this that never happened. They were just, telling me to draw up some plays. They were asking about my personality and stuff like that. That one I didn't videotape just for obvious reasons. Let's see. Gosh, I'm trying to find some good ones. Can we still trade EB since he's under contract still? I don't think so. But if he gets, which is not going to happen, if he were to get a promotion, you get like a comp third next year because he's still under contract, but no one's about to hire him as head coach. Like there's no spots open. It's literally impossible. So I don't think you're going to get anything for him at all. Holy smokes. Let me try to catch up to some of these other ones down here. Y'all, I'm going to have to pass a bunch. Someone said Chase Young back new. Definitely not getting Chase Young back, especially after what he said. And first off, he hasn't been good. I'm not going to talk about Chase long. But the fact that, and people didn't say this enough, he was just saying like pretty much our locker room was full of losers. No one was mad about that. That pissed me off. And I know he's not wrong, but who says that? He was like, yeah, this locker room actually like wants to win, and like this is a winning locker room. What the heck's that supposed to mean, bro? Like if I'm one of the Washington players, I'm like, okay, stay over there then. No, he's not coming back. Josh LMB says EB will be fired tomorrow. But I'm trying to catch up. Like, y'all gonna just tell me what's going on? I hate looking at my phone on live streams. So y'all just keep me informed. I'm trying to keep up with everything. Someone says, I think we keep EB as assistant head coach. No. Players hated him, y'all. Like, players did not like him. Players did not like his practices. Players did not like his practice schedules. Players just straight up didn't like EB. I don't think EB stays. I think he goes somewhere else. Let's see. Am I still with BR? Yeah, I'm still with BR, man. Oh, actually, I forgot to put my overlay up. Put the wrong one up. Definitely still with BR. It's just I haven't had anything in the last few weeks because I've been in the Senior Bowl and stuff, and I told him let someone else do it just because I hate having so much to do when I'm on the road. But I have some streams coming up. I'm gonna say 2 weeks. I'll start doing free agency stuff, y'all. So stay tuned on Bleach Report. I think it's free agency streams. Actually, I can tell you exactly what it is. Coming up next is I have one on the 29th for the Combine for February 29th. I forgot the 29th is actually this year. February 14th, Commanders free agent targets at 1 o'clock Eastern time on the 14th, live on Bleacher Report. And then Commanders way too early draft targets on the 27th at 1 o'clock Eastern. Two good ones. Free agency and draft targets. My two favorite things. So stay tuned on that. Glad you brought that up. Yeah, love Bleacher Report. Gonna be doing more stuff. Like I said, I'm going to the draft too. And I'm going to give away 2 jerseys on draft night to people that are members of the channel. So do not forget to sign up. And I'll be giving away stuff all the time, actually. And then, like I said, I'll be doing more exclusive videos for members only, or I'll drop it for members first and then open up to the public like the next day. Like y'all get first access to stuff. SBC Baseball Video says, I hope we don't pass on Justin Herbert for a second time talking about Drake May. Honestly, like I see those comparisons. I like that comparison. Justin Herbert, Phillip Rivers. That's what I see when I see Drake May. Is there still work to be done? Yes. There still is. Are you a May or a Daniels at QB2 guy? Personally, May. I agree with you. I'm still Drake May is my number 2. I don't see it moving. I've watched enough of all 3 quarterbacks where it's like Caleb, tier 1, tier 2, Drake May, and then Jaden's right behind him. Like I said, it's just a completely different guy. May all day. Al Harris as DC. That would be nice. Like I still think it's gonna be Joe Witt. If Al Harris came as the DB/assistant head coach, though, it's got to be some kind of promotion of the Cowboys. Can block it. But I think there's still a way to get him here. Ronald Hodge says, good hire. Wait to see how the offense looks. KD just tweeted something. Let me know what KD just said. Shout out to KD, by the way. I remember seeing him at training camp, dapping KD up. I was completely shook. They had him in like this little teeny golf cart riding over, and then he got out and like went and sat up top, and then I got up there eventually. But shout out to KD for coming back, man. Don't blame him. Man, the players that didn't like him can get the heck off the team. Talk about EB. I get it, but like at the same time, you have players that talk so good about Dan Quinn. You have players that talk good about these other coaches, other play callers, and stuff like that. But Tyreek Hill was like the one guy I've ever heard, and I guess Patrick Mahomes, like say good things about EB. Like when they left, they're like, dang, man. Like Michael Parsons is like, man, I can't believe Dan Quinn's gone. Like just so many former players are like so much behind Dan Quinn. If EB leaves, I promise you not one player here is like, dang, man, we let him go. They're going to be like, come on, Kliff. Like, I mean, you already see players celebrating it. John Dodson, B-Rob, already saying like, yes, we got Kliff Kingsbury. Come on. They're already more hype. Like, no one's going to be saying, like, no one's going to take out a page article in the Washington Post and be like, yo, EB, appreciate everything you did. Not a single player. I'd be, what's the over under of how many players are going to say like, yo, EB, thanks for what you did last year? I 3. And I'm going under 3. Not many players are going to be like, dang, EB, appreciate what you did last year. Bill Talent said it should be an interesting season. D Brown, salute, man. Richard, did Ben Sinnott go to the Senior Bowl? Heck yeah, he went to the Senior Bowl. That was my guy, man. Ben Sinnott, tight end out of Kansas State. Get to know the name. He's a future Washington Commander, all-pro tight end. Love Ben, big time. Talked to him for a long time. I told y'all going into it, that was my guy. I'm telling you, go back and rewatch the Senior Bowl videos I did. I said, watch these guys at the Senior Bowl. Every single one of them popped out. Malachi Corley, Javon Foster, Darius Robinson, Cam Kinshins. Like I said, Ben Sinnott was one of my guys. Who else did I talk about? Adisa Isaac. Like, y'all, my draft board looks pretty dang good this season. Like, I trust my process. I tweeted out, I trust my process, and this offseason looks the best so far. But and quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl was ugly. Spencer Rattler was like the only one that I was like, okay, like he helped himself. Bo looked terrible. Most days. The final day he finally did something. Hartman was bad, especially in the game. Hartman was terrible. Joe Milton was terrible all week, throwing interceptions, like running in 7-on-7 drills. Sir, why are you running the ball? It's a 7-on-7 drill, and you're running the ball. Makes no sense. Yeah. The Senior Bowl, overall, quarterbacks were completely underwhelming. Like, big time. Let's see. Go get Ed Reed as the DB assistant coach for our DB room. Don't tempt me. Don't hype me up. Yeah, we got Ed Reed in here, and we draft Cam Kinshins. That'd be unbearable. I saw Will Blackman. He was at the Senior Bowl coaching. I don't know if he's a DB coach or not, but like I'm telling you, I would love a former player. Maybe they get Chris Harris back. I don't know. But any kind of like former DB, D Hall. I mean, like, I don't think Dale Green would be a DB coach. But just any kind of like former player, like I love it, man. And if it's Ed Reed, look, Ravens fans already hate me and hate us. Ravens fans, I don't think y'all realize this. Ravens fans despise us. They hate me. I still, I'm not even kidding. I have these bot accounts from training camp that still tweet me every single day. Anytime anything happens with Washington, any hiring, whatever, I promise you there's one in my unread messages, the hundreds of them that I ignore, of how much like, oh, poverty franchise, blah, 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 never going to win nothing. We watching the same Super Bowl, Ravens fans. We watching the same one together. We watching the same one. Ravens hate us, and they hate me so much. Michelle said, Terry and Jahan having multiple games with 0 targets or catches. I didn't want him in the building at all. Dude, I'm telling you. Like, I honestly felt bad for both of them last year, but I felt so bad for Jahan. I still love Jahan, but I would watch these games. I know he had some bad drops, but no one talked about the good catches he had, like the Eagles, like go-ahead touchdown, stuff like that. But, man, people were hating on Jahan, man. And I know I'm not the perfect guy. I got in a fight with Cam Curl, and everyone saw it. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm kind of toning that down, though. You know, I'm toning down the negativity. That's just the fan in me, though. Like, I'm toning down the negative side. That was my lowest, getting in a fight with Cam Curl on Twitter. But I just saw so many people hating on Jahan, man. I think Jahan still has a really good opportunity to be a really good wide receiver. I think this is what's going to happen. You're going to have Terry out wide. You're going to move Jahan in the slots where he can just do what he does best. Kill those zone coverages across the middle. Sit down on those empty zones. Get separation on the line against a linebacker or a nickel corner or a safety, whoever it is. You know, guarding him up there in the slot. And then you're going to let him get that yak. Jahan can get that yak. I promise you. And then now you need to get somebody on the opposite side of Terry. Now there's a couple ways you can go, and I'm going to break this down. You can go get a big wide receiver. Like I said, I don't think Mike Evans is going to be there. I don't think it's Higgins is going to come here. Brian Thomas Jr. would be perfect, but he's going in the first round. He's perfect though. But maybe that's where you do get that Brendan Rice size wide receiver in like the third round, if he makes it there. But I'm telling you guys, my guy, Malachi Corley. I'm banging the table for Malachi Corley. He is the closest thing to Deebo Samuels. And we hear it every draft. It's all junk. But this one's true. Like, he is the closest thing to Deebo Samuel. I would love to have him opposite Terry. And he can beat you deep. But he had the most yards after catch in all of college football last year. It was by a lot. He's a physical wide receiver. He's so hard to tackle. Really good contact balance. Really good, just a physical style to him. And I'm telling you, that's my guy on the outside. If we're not spending money, if we're not spending a first, second round pick on a wide receiver, if he's there in the third, Malachi Corley, which I don't even know if he would be in the third. You might have to trade up a few picks for him. He's probably going to go like middle second into second. Someone says we need a tight end first. Absolutely, we need a tight end. This team needs a tight end so bad. And Gerald, I hate to bust your bubble, man. I hope you're not being serious. We got Logan Thomas, but he ain't going to be here next year. I don't care if he says he's going to rework. He shouldn't have been back this past year, if we're being honest. John Bates doesn't do nothing for me. You had Cole Turner being a healthy scratch half the season. Like, come on, man. We need a tight end so bad, whether it's a Jatavion Sanders. I'm telling you, Ben's my guy, man. I'm going to bang the table for Ben. I think he's the second best tight end in this draft. I'm not even kidding. He's the best blocker. And I think he is a legit weapon at tight end, man. I'm excited to see what Ben Sinnott does. Thank you. I appreciate it. We don't have to sign you up for the psych ward, man. Because you'd be surprised, man. I say something about Logan Thomas, I get all the fans coming at me like, what are you talking about? Logan ain't good. Look what he's done. I'm looking. Now, I don't think you'll take Ben Sinnott in the second, third round, which is why I like him the most. People sleeping on Ben. George Kittle was taken in the 5th round, y'all. That's all I'm saying. Adam Peters drafted George Kittle in the 5th round. He drafted Dre Greenlaw in the 5th round. Word was Adam Peters was in charge of those later round picks. Like, rounds 3 and back. Adam Peters picked Brock Purdy. There's a video about it. Just talking about why he wanted him, what he liked about him. Adam Peters is a late round draft god. Ben Sinnott in the 4th is going to feed families. I'm going to get a jersey. Straight up. Jatavion Sanders for me is hit or miss, man. I don't know. I don't think he's worth taking in the second. There's too much good talent right in the second round, man. Those first 2 picks in the second round, if we don't trade one of them to get up and get Caleb, and if we do, it's okay because we still have another. There's someone really good in that second round, whether it's an offensive line or it's a safety like Cam Kinchins, or it is a corner that slides out. There's too many good players in this draft for there to only be 32 picks in the first round. There's a lot of first round players, if you know what I'm saying, in this draft, but they're not going to be taken in the first round. There's only 32 picks in the first round. You've got probably 45 to 50 guys that could go in the first round in other drafts. I'm telling you guys, I love this draft. Love this draft. I cannot. I'm gonna talk about every position, every player I like for Washington. Y'all gonna wake up to videos on videos from me. There's gonna be nights I can't sleep and I just watch 3 guys all night. That didn't sound right. I'm sorry, that was a pause moment. That was a pause moment. I shouldn't have said that. You know what I meant. Oh. Hold on now. We're on Caleb watch. Hold on now. We're on Caleb watch. I don't even want to refresh this because this is crazy. Caleb on Instagram said, "My dog, congrats with Kliff." So it is a 3-year deal. Albert Breer says have agreed to terms on a 3-year deal to make him the offensive coordinator. Whew. So Kevin Durant said, "Welcome, Kliff. Who's next?" That's the kind of energy I like. KD bringing the energy. He said, "Who next?" Turn me up, man. Shout out to KD. That's the energy I like. Welcome, Kliff. He ain't talking like, "Oh shit, Kliff. Who next? Who else we getting? Who else want to be here?" B-Rob celebrating. Jahan Dotson celebrating. And if you don't follow him, Caleb Williams. Let me freeze it. You can't really see it. It says, "My dog, congrats." A picture of Kliff Kingsbury in a Washington uniform. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to tweet that out. So if y'all want to see it, add Josh Taylor FB on Twitter, X, whatever. We'll call it. I'm going to just call it X. It's time to move on from Twitter. It's X. It's X now, guys. I'm going to call it that. I had people coming at me because I said both one time. Caleb Williams seems happy about the news. Hashtag HTTC. I still don't like that. I still don't like that HTTC, by the way. Still just, I don't know. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because we could go down for a while. He said 3 guys all night. It's crazy. You know what I meant, man? I'm talking about watching film. Watching film, man. Bang, bang, it's Kansas City Chiefs gang. Hey, by the way, Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. How does that sound? Take care, y'all. Shout out, hey, y'all. Shout out to Kansas City. I hope the 49ers win, though. Like I said, I just put up the picture on X of Caleb Williams' Instagram story. Just said, "My dog, congrats." But that's good for us, man. So it seemed like they really wanted to so they did a video too. The Washington account tweeted out a video of Dan Quinn got off the plane. Super cool to see. And then Adam Peters is there to greet him and his family. Just cool. I like seeing that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't say that things don't feel different now, right? Like y'all feel it. It feels different. Like it just feels like it's a different time, you know? It's a refreshing, just not knowing that Ron Rivera's, he's not here anymore. We have actual GM that's going to do GM things. People were saying it sounded like we were kind of waiting to announce the whole Kliff Kingsbury news tomorrow, which is when Dan Quinn's press conference is, by the way, tomorrow. It seems like we were trying to wait till then, but I don't think it won't wait. people tweeting it out already. So big news. We've been live for about an hour. I'm about to wrap it up, y'all. I don't want to keep y'all too long. I told you I was going to go live. I don't care how I feel. I don't care how tired I am. I might just pull a 24-hour. I mean, we getting there. It's close. Like I said, I was up at 2:00 this morning. I was at the airport. Like, we had a line before the TSA was even open. Like, we were in line for about 30 minutes before they even opened that. I've never even seen that. I thought it just stayed open. But we were in line at 3:40 because our plane was loading at 4:30. And I told y'all, man, I don't care. Whenever something happens, I'm going to go live and y'all show up every time. So I appreciate y'all, all the super chats, all the members that showed up. Like I said, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're so close to 3K. I might do something at 3K just to celebrate. But like I said, I'll be giving away 2 jerseys on day 1 at the NFL draft. I will be in Detroit. I will show y'all my reaction to whoever we pick. I think Adam Schefter just had a typo, and I can't wait to read this one day. Adam Schefter said the Chiefs and Commanders have both now arrived in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. Yo. He meant to say 49. He said, yo, shout out to Adam Schefter. Because one day we're going to read that. He said the Chiefs and Commanders have both now arrived in Las Vegas. The week of the Super Bowl is officially underway. Can you imagine the day that happens though? If we go to the Super Bowl, I'm going to be there first off. I don't care if I have to sell my kidney. Can you imagine just reading, just knowing that could actually happen? Just reading that. Washington has arrived for the Super Bowl. Yo, I'm 30. I've never seen us in a Super Bowl. I was born after our last one. That's a good typo. One day, guys. That's what I said. One day. I'm gonna buy a bus, pick up everybody, and go to the Super Bowl. Biggie says, Josh loves so as I sit here, hi so. This hire feels really good. Love to hear your thoughts. Hopefully you still feel the same tomorrow. Because like I said, guys, it is a good hire. I'm not mad about it. I like it. And like I said, I like the situation, the longevity. We're going to have a rookie quarterback that Kliff's going to work with. But also, Kliff's done being a head coach, y'all. You don't have to worry about this guy leaving in 2-3 years. It's going to be a while if he does. If things go really, really well, I don't see him leaving. I don't see him wanting to be a head coach again. He doesn't want to deal with all that. He said, heck no, I'm good on that. Let me do my offensive stuff, man. I think this builds to win now, and then it also builds to sustain for a long time. And I'm not just saying this because of the whole Ben Johnson thing, but if you get a young guy, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what that's going to look like, how long it's going to take for things to get going. I'm just saying, guys, if you're so against it, just be open-minded. I'm open-minded. I feel good about it. I know I felt good last year. I feel good every year. And it usually doesn't last long. Training camp, I think we're winning the Super Bowl. And then week 3, I'm like, no, we're trash. We suck. But it's to that point where there's been, and this is the last thing I'll say. Last year, we knew with the timing of the sale of the team and everything, realistically, that was like a buffer season. No one said, oh, guys, we're going to go so far in the playoffs that Ron Rivera is going to come back and EB is going to be the guy. And like, that's just it. In all honesty, like, we knew last year was like a buffer. Like, Josh Harris couldn't do anything. Josh Harris couldn't make any coaching hirings. Josh Harris cannot make any big time changes. No one really thought in the back of our mind, like, Ron Rivera might do a good enough job to stay here next year. And if you did, I don't know who's telling you that. I promise you, you can watch every video I did on this channel. I never once said, things are going to go so well with Ron Rivera. If anything, it was going to be EB was going to play good enough to where, he could be the head coach. But it's just at the same time, we knew like the GM spot, all the front office changes, all the coaching changes. There wasn't really anything Josh could do. It was just the timing of the sale. This was a time to just sit back, see how everything plays out the season. And it sucked. We got the second pick. It sucked, so we decided to get some more picks so we can get Adam Peters here, and now we're rolling. Let Adam cook, y'all. I got a Let Adam Cook shirt in the mail today, actually. It's in the washer right now. I'll wear it on my next stream. Let Adam cook. I'm not going to doubt anything. Like I said, I'm not going to be about any decision. I'm not going to be mad about anything that this team does until I'm given a reason to. I highly recommend y'all do the same. Be optimistic. We wanted changes. We wanted a coach that our players could actually play for. We wanted our players to actually play like they were believing in what they were doing, and they have that opportunity. So I'm not mad. I'm not going to be mad until I have a reason to be mad. Until Adam Peters does something, I'm like, I don't know, man. That don't look good. Like trading back. If he trades back from 2, I'm like, all right, Adam. I said I trust you, but I'm starting to doubt that now. Or if he says, hey, man, Sam Howell's going to be quarterback next year, but I don't know, Adam. You might want to go back in the office and rewrite that little plan you had. But until I'm given a reason to be mad, I'm gonna be an excited fan because there's changes. Change is exciting. Change is always exciting until it doesn't work out. I have noticed that too. It says Joe Witt Jr. is the defensive coordinator on Wikipedia. It's in the works. It's definitely in the works. And if it comes out, like I said, the Kliff thing was supposed to come out tomorrow. Maybe the Joe Witt Jr. news will come out tomorrow. That's my prediction if you want that. I think Joe Witt Jr. has announced the defensive coordinator tomorrow during the whole little shindig. And then we'll start to get into the layers of the offense and the defense. I don't know if that's all going to be brought out tomorrow, but at least tomorrow you'll probably hear that Joe Witt Jr. is the new defensive coordinator. And Richard, you're right. Smash that like and subscribe, y'all. If you haven't already, hit that subscription button and thumbs up as always. Like I said, sign up for memberships, y'all. Helps me out with the channel and gives y'all some good content here. I'm just going through all of these chats. Everything looks good. Appreciate y'all blowing it up. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I don't think anything else is going to happen tonight, but if it does, I'll hop right back on. I promise y'all. But I'm probably going to go to sleep soon because I've got to work tomorrow. And I'm like, reach that point of tiredness where you just start getting delusional. But I appreciate y'all stopping by as always. Y'all are awesome. It's going to be a great off season. Can't wait to do more stuff for y'all. Senior Bowl was a blast. Hope y'all enjoyed the content. I might do some more. I don't know. I might do some more Senior Bowl stuff, or I might just wrap up the player stuff that I want to talk about, like Senior Bowl wise, like when I actually talk about the players, like Malachi Corley or Cam Hart. Go like more in depth with those videos. I haven't figured out if I want to do like a broad video of like everyone that hops on YouTube looking at Cam Hart stuff, or if I just want to just mold it towards Washington, like players I think are good fits for Washington. I haven't decided that yet. So let me know what y'all want. But I'm like free agent wise, I'm going to stick to just Washington targets. I'm not going through a free agent in the NFL. I'm going to just stick to straight up Washington stuff. And then I'll do the same on Bleacher Report with free agent targets and draft prospects I'm looking for. Like I said, guys, I have 2 streams coming up in February, 3 coming up in February. Free agent, draft, and then combine news. I'm not going to the combine this year. I thought about it. Everyone I talked to was like, nah, it's not worth it. But yeah, let me know what y'all want to see. Drop in the comments. As always, I read them all. I promise you. Sometimes it takes me a little bit because I get busy, but definitely going to be going through some free agent targets who I like, who I think is going to fit. I was just waiting for all these, head coaching and defensive coordinator news to come out so we really know what things are going to look like, who would actually fit where and stuff like that. So appreciate y'all stopping by, and I'll be back when some news drops. But if not, expect a video later on this week. Might start getting into the nitty gritty of some free agent stuff. Like I said, now we got some head coaching and coordinator news finally out, guys. It seemed like every day at practice at the Senior Bowl, something was happening. It happens every year. You hear something or something comes out on here. You hear that Washington was trying to get Jimmy Garoppolo. Or you hear from an agent that that we were trying to get somebody else. It's just always crazy stuff, man. I love it. Every year I go, you just get so much I love it. Draft the same way. If we're going to the draft, let me know. I'll be there. Plan on meeting up with as many people as possible. Definitely want to do some videos at the draft, talking to fans, getting some reactions and stuff like that. It's going to be a good time. So thanks for stopping by. Subscribe on the way out. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. And I'll see y'all next time here on the JTFB channel. Peace.